This episode is sponsored by Flapjackery. Flapjackery is where the humble oak meets indulgence. From its bakery on the edge of Dartmoor in West Devon, it crafts uniquely British, artisan, luxury flapjacks using only the finest ingredients, with flavours ranging from classic to inventive combinations like salted caramel brownie and apple and blackcurrant. Each bite is a decadent treat, and they are all gluten-free.
Now onto the interview of the episode. We have the founders of Manchester 24 Hours Run Against Homelessness and runners of Manchester Road Ruunners. So one of the founders has PBs of 20.03 for 5k, 42.08 for 10k, 93.57 for the half, and 3:28.12 for the marathon, while the other has PBs of 17.23 for the 5k, 35.43 for the 10k, 82.26 for the half, and 2:55.54 for the marathon. Please welcome Molly, Glenister, Doyle, and Thomas Lewis. Again, we were just talking about names. That's good.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Did I get them PBs right?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Good start. Strong start, Sean. So welcome to the podcast, and I've got some questions for both of you. So you've both got extensive history with Manchester Road Runners, right?
Yeah.
And also Run Wild Manchester. So how did the two of you first meet, and what initially bonded you over running and community of organising?
Sure. You want me? Yeah, sure. So we met at Run Wild Manchester. So it was when I was in my second year of university, and you were in your third at that point. So in 2018, we were both part of the running club, and the running club started doing kind of more socials to kind of get people more together rather than just kind of going for the run and then everyone disappearing. So I think we first got talking about the first proper social event we did, and after that now we're engaged after 7 or 8 years. So
Run Wild was my proper first running club, I think, probably same for you as well, at university. So it was a really great running club, and I think I got involved during my second year, but we didn't meet then because you weren't at. You were at uni then. But I just didn't think we met then.
Wasn't that social during the first year, I don't think.
And then I think I got more involved with Run Wild when I was doing my industrial placement year. I think I just had a little bit more time. I think at uni you're working throughout the day, whereas when I did placement year I was like obviously more of a 9 till 5, so I had more time to sort of get involved with the running club then.
Yeah.
So Run Wild is a running club that was associated with the university, is that correct?
Yes, sorry, I should have started with that. But they're a social running club based at University of Manchester. They're really social based. You just go along on a Tuesday, it's free to join, and they do different distances and paces. So the faster the pace, obviously the longer you'll go. They meet every Tuesday, and then they sort of have longer runs on a Thursday, and then Parkrun on a Saturday.
Yeah. So I think we were both run leaders as well at the time. So,
were you run leaders at Manchester Road Runners?
Yeah, as well. So we're both ambassadors at the moment for Road Runners. So I'm the current president, and then you're also
Parkrun and Races.
Nice.
I think that's the right name.
So lots of volunteering throughout, and then for Run Wild as well. You were also Parkrun secretary.
I was, yes.
Very much like Parkrun on your side, and then I was also president of Run Wild for 2 years during my time. So
we started run leading when we were at Run Wild.
Yeah.
So joined them, like club, and then for me anyway, industrial placement year. That's when I became a run leader and helped out there, and I think that's actually when I became more involved with the club itself and got to know more people. And then we actually did our LERF qualification, so leadership and running fitness with England Athletics, through Run Wild Manchester when we were still students. But then we stayed with Run Wild Manchester for quite a long time after we were students. They're very welcoming, especially if you're an ex-president. And then I sort of got a bit older, and we were like, right, we need to find another club, because everyone keeps asking me what I'm studying, and I finished uni a few years ago. That's when we found Run Wild.
Yeah, because I think we had all the friends who kind of went on to do PhDs there, and kind of post-COVID, they didn't have the most run leaders, so we came back to help out. And then I think as soon as our friends with PhDs kind of started graduating, we moved on to Manchester Road Runners, which I think we discovered mainly through the 24 Hour Run Against Homelessness. So during our first year in 2019, they were one of the kind of main big clubs in Manchester that came along in kind of big numbers, and also when we moved to our flat in 2022, I want to say.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 even.
COVID,
Yes, sorry,
yeah.
it's that long ago.
Yeah.
It turns out the Roadrunner route went straight past the flat, so it was kind of very hard to miss them. And
Kept seeing them. We were like, what is this?
it was,
Yeah.
it was only 800 metres down the road. And just kind of to look back, kind of on the whole run leading side, I think Run Wild set like a really good example for what you'd kind of want from a run leader.
Yeah.
Not all of them were kind of qualified through Love, but they had like a really high standard of kind of keeping the whole groups together and kind of accommodating for everyone. So they have a 5k route which is kind of goes at the pace of anyone who turns up basically, and then they have about 5 or 6 different separate groups, and they have like a fast route that'll do 4:30 pace at 10k, and each week it was kind of a different route around Manchester, so it was a really good way to learn the city, as a student when I had no idea what was in Manchester.
I think probably because they are like student based as well, you probably do want like groups to stay together and stuff.
Yeah.
So probably run leaders are really conscious of that, because people are all new to the city and maybe even new to running and stuff like that. So don't know the pace yet. I think I remember when I joined and they were like, oh, what group do you want? It was like steady, medium fast. And I was like, no idea. Just go for the middle one. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think it's like really increased running? You mentioned COVID, and since then, have you seen like a big increase in interest in it?
I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
There's definitely more clubs, lots of
Definitely,
clubs, which is
isn't
good.
there?
With lots of choice.
I think just
but yeah.
participation numbers. I think I really like the stats side, so probably comes with a whole degree idea, which is maths and everything else. But just that Roadrunners kind of in the last few years, we've kind of gone from having probably like 80 to 100 on a Wednesday to now it's regularly 200, or if not a tiny bit more, which is it's amazing to see. It creates its own problems in kind of making sure you have enough leaders and kind of following everything safely. But yeah, we've seen that massive boom on that side, and I think through organising the kind of events that we have done is that just some, as you said, there's so many more clubs to kind of reach out to as well, which helps bring our eyes on.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a big long list of reach out for different cities, say, like for the 24-hour run. So we just start off with a Facebook or an Instagram search, don't we? But yeah, the list is getting longer each year. We're like, oh, there's a new one popped up. So we like to keep track, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Parkrun a couple of times. So you've done over 300 Parkruns each, is that right?
Yeah.
That's high kudos for that. I mean, what is it about Parkrun that's kept you coming back week after week for all those years?
Well, as Tom mentioned, I was Parkrun sec, so I kind of had to. No, I'm joking. I love Parkrun. Yeah. No, it was voluntary, I promise. Yeah, I think when I joined Run Wild, the original student club that we were with, I think I actually got more involved as well so they advertised out that they were going to a specific parkrun, South Manchester Parkrun. They go every week, if not, if it's on, or if not, a bit of tourism. But I met a few people there, and then they convinced me to go for coffee, and then that's how people get you, isn't it? You go for coffee, and you're like, oh, I'll come back then. So yeah, I did that quite a lot, and again with I worked during the first couple of years of university, like at the weekends, so I actually wasn't free to go to Parkrun. So then when I did my industrial placement, I had my weekends free again, and I thought, oh, I'll go along. And then you sort of get to know like a smaller group of Run Wild who consistently went to Parkrun, because Run Wild was quite big, you can't know everybody, but then I knew this consistent group of people, so that was really nice. And then I took on, I think the year after, or a couple of years after, took on just being the Parkrun sec. So you literally just post out, we're going to Parkrun, come along, and you make an effort to meet all those new people who are coming along, so they come back.
Do you go to different Parkruns?
We do now. We didn't used to.
No, so you got your signature at South Manchester Parkrun recently, and one off, and that's purely because we lived behind it for a couple of years, and the student society. And I think on my side, I started Parkrun a bit later than you. Also because I had a Saturday job, and also I was like 9 a.m. on Saturday, that's not happening. As a student in the first year, Fridays were the nights out. But I think once I got into it, I again convinced by the social side as well, so getting the breakfast afterwards. But also, I think it's just such a great event, being like a free weekly timed 5k. Kind of going out and trying to set those 5k PBs was like, I saw like a lot of progress in the kind of first year, and kind of very quickly kind of came down, and you kind of had to you could see where you place against everyone, and it gives us a really good test of speed in that sense as well. Not that it's always about that for parkrun, and then I think on the tourism side, I think as soon as we kind of got past uni, we started doing it a lot more. To the point where when we went to America, we did 2 parkruns over there in kind of Orlando, and one was half an hour away, and I think the other was an hour and a half. So we got a taxi at 5:30 in the morning to go all the way to St. Petersburg. Wow. But I think it's the favourite one I've ever done in the world, purely just for how stunning the course was.
We met a very lovely family there who took us all the way back. We were like, thank you very much.
But then we've also gone to the extremes of going, so with Road Runners this year, we did a parkrun trip so everyone could go and get their SED for the alphabet challenge, and we're fully committed at this point. So
I just really like the challenges as well.
Do you have a favourite parkrun? It's a big question, that.
In Manchester, I really like Oldham. I just think the park's really pretty. It's a bit hilly, but I'm okay with that.
It's quite a popular one, isn't it? We did a meet up there, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
I think it's
one
really
of the
nice.
few I've never done in Manchester.
Have you not?
I didn't.
Well, there's an incentive.
When we went, I didn't actually run it. I think it was a few days before Berlin, wasn't it? That's
I
what
did it,
What about you, Tom? Do you have
Manchester, I think it's Alderley Edge, just because I like how pretty it is out there. And
it's an Alderley Park, that one.
Yeah.
Raced at Alderley Park.
Yeah, from the Alderley Trail,
quite stunning. And then worldwide, it's the one that we went to in St. Petersburg, just because the entirety was on kind of boardwalks, kind of above the kind of mangroves, I think it's called out there. But you got these amazing views, and just it had everything. It was on roads, on dirt, on sand, and I think it's the only one where we both also finished in first position for gender, so that was a bonus as well. But 7:30 in the morning is still 24 degrees.
It was
very good fun.
And also they had bug spray available.
Yeah.
I bet you used that. They like they had a few pots of it out, weren't they? So
if you've done over 300 parkruns each, there must be. You must not miss many nowadays. There must be many weekends where you miss the parkrun.
Record a year?
I think
in 1 year.
Yes, I did. I managed to do a 54 in a year. But I think we got a couple of years where we've been at 50 now, near 50 and a half.
There's a gold level obsessive challenge.
Yeah.
So I had to do it, and I said to Tom one year, I was like, "Oh, do I have to miss this one because I'm not going to beat the challenge?" He was like, "No, don't be silly. You don't have to get the challenge."
I know, I'm into it.
and he got it that year.
Also, just really wanted to get the 250 top for the longest time. I thought the green top looked really cool, so I was like, I'll be dedicated and I can get it in 3 years.
Also, just really like going for breakfast afterwards, to be honest. It's
and
mandatory at that point.
Only 4 more years now till we get the 500.
Yeah.
But then we went to Bushies for the 1000th too, which was an incredible experience.
How many people?
6,000.
6,000 people. They ran out of tokens, but even the additional ones we had, and then we had to get numbers written on our hands. And then go up to them and be like, please.
So it took us an hour to get through the finish funnel for that one.
It did.
Wow.
I remember seeing it on socials, that they'd run out of tokens.
And then they said, don't come back next week. in the most politest way. Because it was Parkrun's 20th birthday the week after, and they were like, please don't return. At least not everyone.
Fair play for your patience for queuing up there. I'd have just sat
we were trying to get Oasis tickets in the background, so that was taking up a lot. I
actually got marked as an unknown, and I had to email them, and I was like, I promise I was there. And I gave them so much info that they couldn't be like, I don't think you were. I was like, between this person and this person, here's my photo.
So you both went recently to the Commonwealth Games and to the Paris Olympics. You must have done parkruns there as well, did you?
No, in Paris.
We actually didn't.
We did for no, not for either actually. Yeah,
No.
it's one of the few times we missed.
Yeah,
Wow.
we missed
Controversial.
we missed the Commonwealth one because the wheelchair marathon started. I think it was was it at the time Parkrun or maybe just before?
It was just
Parkrun?
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And David Wiz in it.
Yeah.
Well. So we were like, we don't want to miss it.
Yeah, so we did one in Birmingham, I think, because we did Edgbaston. And
Oh, we did, yeah.
And
Just not the marathon weekend.
yeah. So marathon weekend we missed it because we wanted to watch the marathon runners, so we got to see Jolly Malner and everyone else. And,
Yeah, Johnny Malone.
which was really cool. So we kind of hopped around the city to try and spot as many people as we could. And then the second week we cycled to watch triathlon afterwards, which was its own.
We did watch
kind of
triathlon. That was
really good
amazing.
experience.
Yeah, it was very good. It was so
yeah.
cool.
Because there was a sprint triathlon that weekend, and also the
yes.
Which category was it? Because we had the British lady who won gold.
Crowhead?
Yes.
Oh wait, yeah, in the para triathlon. Yeah,
Oh, right.
that was awesome.
and then we ended up kind of going, well, it was the Euros final at the same time, so we went to kind of go to the nearest pub to watch the women's Euros final, and then we ended up having these Australians kind of sit with us, asked if they could join us, and about half an hour into the game, Matt Hauser walks in with his kind of bronze medal and kind of meets everyone.
Hello, and then like, let's hold the medal. We like took a picture of him.
And then I guess with Paris, unfortunately, Parkrun's no longer happening there in France and everything because of whatever restrictions they have on. So
I think it's acceptable to miss Parkrun for the Olympics. It feels like a good trade-off, right? It's still sports.
But it was a great, we saw some incredible events. We managed to, we flew out on Tuesday and went straight to the athletics, so we saw Keely Hodgson receive a gold Olympic medal, and I think we bought some very expensive tickets that night because it was the 1500 metre final. So we really wanted to see Josh Kerr.
Well, it was Josh Kerr, Ingebrigtsen and Hooker.
Yeah.
All in the same race.
We didn't know too much about Hooker or the Americans, and we were sat with all these Americans who were really excited. And as soon as we saw Kerr go past Ingebrigtsen, we were there celebrating, and suddenly
I couldn't believe it, but it was amazing. We actually didn't have tickets for that when we went out. We were looking, maybe we did just before though. We were looking like a couple of days before, because they kept releasing like last minute tickets, and we were like, shouldn't we? And then we were like, we'll be sad. We'll be sad if we don't go.
I think everyone knows Hooker now, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not looked back since then, has it?
And then, we watched the Olympic Marathon too, which again was incredible.
Amazing. We've watched a few, we've like supported a few races but never seen Kipchoge run.
Yeah.
So that was our first time. That was amazing. We were saying we should have stood, so we like stood in a few different places, and about 35, because he pulled out of the marathon. Yeah. But we were stood about 35.
We were a kilometre on from where he pulled out the final time, so we were there waiting, getting really excited to see him again, and we just had this random guy run down the big hills. He was saying, I got Kipchoge's shoe.
Yeah, and then he held an alpha fly in the air, ran down this hill past everyone else spectating, was like, I've got Kipchoge's shoe, and then just carried on running, and everyone was like, oh.
He ended up like walking along with literally just his tights on.
Yeah.
Because like everything else he'd given away.
we could have made
so he said we should have stood further up the road if we'd known, but
there you go. And also you recently ran around Silverstone with Red Bull for the flying laps. So what was that experience like? I'm not familiar with that.
It's very unique. It was so I think that was.
Is it actually on the race course? This?
Yeah. So they did kind of a tour of a couple of cities where they did a challenge where it was a random distance between, I think it was about 5.8k, so same as Silverstone, and whoever came first in each event kind of got invited, like gender as well, to go and see if you can beat your time. And I think this was when we were both doing marathon training, so we were in quite good, probably the best shape of my life at that point.
Very lucky when it fell.
Yeah. So we luckily won the kind of event in Manchester, which was with Run Wild Manchester as well, and then got invited along. So it was on the Thursday pre kind of F1 kind of races. So you had all the cars kind of being built in the garages when you went down to track. We had Richard Ashcroft, who was just stood to the side, who just kind of did this filming for the Verve, and I think we were delayed because Brad Pitt was filming a scene for the movie, so we were all trying to peek out the window. So we got taken to Red Bull Hospitality, which was very fancy.
You've landed on your feet a few times, really.
Yeah, we got very lucky with the experiences we've had.
We actually heard they went round. It was mostly universities they were doing these events, Red Bull, and we just heard that. Run Wild were doing it, so we were like, hello. We've come to join this, but we were very lucky.
Yeah, when we were on the lap, you kind of had all the F2 drivers, F3 drivers kind of going and doing their checks, kind of doing their scanning out, so it was very cool to run the lap on the kind of the weekend, but a very weird distance. Because 5k I feel like you know how to run, you do that enough times as everything else, but 5.8k I was like, do I just kind of do 5k pace and hope to survive another
It's a weird distance on the road, isn't it?
Yeah, the relays, nationals are not far off that, aren't they? About 5.5k. It is I think you just hit it at 5k pace and worry about that little bit.
And then just hang on.
My Strava graph shows like a very bad 5th kilometre kind of down the Wellington straight near that hill, and then the last 800 is kind of downhill and send it.
Well, the premise was that you'd come first at the event, say at Run Wild Manchester for us, you'd then do a lap at Silverstone and you'd improve your time. Whoever improved it by the most then won VIP tickets to the race weekend for the rest of the weekend. So obviously everybody
big incentive.
Tried very hard, yes. I, like you said, we were marathon training for the first one, and then not so much for the second one. So for me, I was just running around having a good time. I knew I wasn't going to beat my first time, but you did. So
yeah, I think I did 50 seconds, but then
you tried for us.
There's some people that far more quicker and far more improved.
Yeah.
You both run also for, I mean, we talked earlier about the amount of run clubs and running clubs, so you run for Ancoats Run Club as well.
Yeah.
What is the difference really? So what makes the atmosphere in a weekly social run club like that different to the structured environment you get in a road like Manchester Road Ruunners? How different?
Sure.
Is that?
So I think I guess we joined Ancoats partly because we moved away from where we lived in Manchester, so we kind of moved kind of more towards the Eddie Hearn and that side. So again, it was the closest running club that we had. But I think Ancoats was the most equivalent that we found to Run Wild since we've left. So they kind of have the same structured format where everyone runs as a group together. They have leaders who kind of would take you on different routes each week. Varies kind of by the year, so kind of during the winter months it's mainly the roads around Ancoats, but during the summer you get a lot of canals, a lot of parks. But it's kind of nice to kind of meet different people, kind of stay in that one group and kind of explore an area of Manchester that we didn't really explore beforehand.
Yeah.
So it opens up a lot more different routes for the kind of long runs. And then they have Tuesdays, Wednesdays at 6:30. No, Tuesday, Thursday, sorry. At 6:30 from the red.
Women's on a Wednesday, but once a month.
And then they also have a lot of morning ones at 7:15,
but we've
never make those.
Oh yeah, they do have Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But like you say,
7:15 a.m. Don't make that.
So in my mind, the evening one's Tuesday, Thursday.
Where did they meet? Do they have a base where they?
Sure, it's the Red Bridge in Ancoats.
That's what I
can't remember the street name.
Bridge,
it's outside the Royal Mill, I think.
It's near the square in Ancoats.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. It's got like Rudy's and Jimmy's and.
But then along
but it's like one road
parallel,
a couple of roads parallel to that, more on the canal.
Yeah.
But I honestly can't.
It's right near Voodoo that then, isn't it?
Yeah, so that'll be where we parked if it's the Red Bridge that goes over the
It's official name. I don't know its official name.
It's I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Red Bridge.
It's now the Red Bridge. Forever.
And then I guess with Roadrunners, I think when we joined originally, it was primarily focused on the kind of Wednesday session. So they have distances of 3K, 5K, 7.5K, and 10K at a time, and they have ambassadors and leaders, but they do the same route. We do the same route each week.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives people that opportunity to kind of go and run at what pace they want and kind of test their abilities that way. And then it's kind of evolved since then to we now have an intervals group every Wednesday, which varies by session. So whether it's hill sprints or kind of going to Aldsall Park, which is the closest we have to a track, and kind of instead of people going into kind of intervals in the other groups and kind of test themselves that way, they can now do it all together. And we do it by kind of time based to all the intervals. So we have a very wide range of ability, so everyone's kind of treated fairly in that aspect and makes the session a bit easier to run. And then we started doing couch to 5K now on a Wednesday in kind of 2 blocks, and we've seen some kind of good uptake with that. And
that's good, yeah.
There's
And people just come, if people want to get involved, how do they go about doing that?
Just turn up.
Yeah.
The Roadrunners meet at the Wharf every Wednesday, so obviously there's the pub base, so you can enjoy a refreshment afterwards. But they just turn up. There's 3 tiers of membership, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there's a free membership. That's literally just to kind of join the WhatsApp group, so we know you've actually come along to Roadrunners.
And you're not trying to post anything.
Yeah, you're not trying to post any US stock market stuff. And then what we have
paid members for 21.
Yeah, 1 tier up, so you get discounts on drinks at the Wharf on Wednesdays and physio,
merchandise and physio.
merch.
Yeah.
And then the highest one, which has the affiliation associated with it, so you can do cross country and get your race discount, stuff like that.
Okay.
So the Red Bridge is on Red Hill Street.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Red Hill Street for Ancoats.
Yes.
That's they have a range, so whatever one you want to do, if you want to do morning or evening. I kind of like doing both Roadrunners and Ancoats. I like having the Ancoats as social running because I tend to join like the 5:30 kilometre pace. So I can chat with people because their fast pace is like 4:30-ish, which I've joined a couple of times, but I can't talk as much, and I don't know if I could join in my current fitness. But I like to chat to people on that one. And then Roadrunners still can chat to people, but sometimes people just want to go for it. If they know the route, they just want to go all out. And sometimes can't talk on those ones.
And I guess with Roadrunners now we've got a track session now on Tuesdays that we started doing from Longford Park as well, and that's had a great uptake, which I think probably exceeded expectations. And then we've had a Sunday long run, which is basically like the same stuff as Ancoats. So that's 10 a.m. we meet from the North, and kind of depending on what kind of big event there is in Manchester, it'll vary from 15k all the way up to 30k, where everyone kind of sticks together and gets their training in. And then occasionally we're adding kind of some tempo speed sessions, so people can do their long run intervals together. And I think that's proved really popular, especially for kind of those who are kind of, well, for any pace really, but I think it's really helped people who are kind of looking for something a bit faster to kind of stick together and get that training in. So I think we had the most we ever had this year take part in the Manchester Marathon, which was really good to see.
Big squad.
Yeah, and lots of PBs. I think the weather wasn't the ideal conditions this year for Manchester, so I think fingers crossed for next year. And then the half is, well, we had 40 people 2 weeks ago go over to do the Monza race in Italy, which again, far more people than we ever expected to sign up to our first kind of big trip we've had as a club in a long time.
Nice. Okay.
Lots going on.
Yeah, lots going on. Yeah, different events each week.
And you ran some in Manchester with the Hardest Geezer. You all know who the Hardest Geezer is? Yeah. It's pretty unbelievable, some of the stuff he does. So what was the atmosphere like running with him in Manchester, and did you take anything away from seeing that kind of extreme endurance up close? Will you be doing anything like that in the future?
I hope so. I've actually, had a chance to run with some really, or at least meet some really cool people. That one, it was actually a joint event with Experian. So Experian reached out, didn't they, on Instagram and asked if roadrunners wanted to get involved with a sort of collaborative event with them.
They said they'd been a big influencer, and we didn't really know quite what to expect. And then as soon as we heard it was a Hardest Geezer, I was like, oh my god, there's going to be way too many people, so we had to change venue and kind of come up with some extra precautions and sell tickets. And
they were free though. They were free tickets.
But
so.
he turned up earlier than expected, and kind of was the most down-to-earth person you can meet, really.
Nice.
He took. I think he did a lot more than Experian kind of expected to, where he kind of spoke to everyone and kind of properly spoke to everyone as well, instead of just kind of trying to rush through it, and got pictures with everyone, videos, signed items, and definitely was really nice to meet him. He's told us a lot of stories about his challenges and kind of what's coming next.
He'd just come back from New Zealand at that point, I think,
So for those that are listening that don't know who the Hardest Geezer is, who is it? How would you describe what he's done?
The first man to run the entire length of Africa. I think it's probably what he's best known for. But then he's done other challenges too. I know one of them was kind of, he started in Asia and then ran to Europe. I think it was his first big challenge. I'm hoping I'm not getting that wrong. And then he's also done it now where he's kind of ran the entire length for New Zealand on a Pacific Trail, which I'm forgetting the name of. And then now he's got, I think he's training to get a 5k PB. Or that's how fast he can get. Which he's got kind of doing YouTube videos on in the series. And he's also got something called the Hardest Adventures now, where he's trying to get other people into that, kind of bring people together to complete challenges. So I think their first one was the Mount Kilimanjaro, which he's got a video out.
He just does crazy distances day on day, trying to run the length of Africa in a set amount of time, and they went with a van, didn't they, in a small team.
Yeah, I think we looked to join the last day of his visit, but
we did
had
have
a wedding.
A sneak peek, but I don't think we could make it work. But actually, two of our friends, George and Aidan, were very excited to come to the event because they recreated a photo they took in Tunisia for the final stretch with the Hardest Geezer. So they went out there, ran the final stretch, and then were very excited to come to the event and be like, right, we've got to recreate this this thing that we took. But
I think if you ever met him though, you wouldn't. He doesn't come across at all like he's a massive celebrity these days in, I guess, the running community, and everything else he just seems like a normal.
Yeah, we had to do tickets on the doors, didn't we? And then to the Experian event, so to come inside, but actually to run with him, there were more tickets like outside. But I did feel a bit mean at the door when you have to be like, oh, are you coming in, or do you just have a run ticket? So we're like, we'll be out in half an hour.
And if anyone hasn't listened, go listen to, he's done a few podcasts and is amazing on it. He tells like all that story as well about the challenges that they had in Africa, about like editing the videos, getting it uploaded up to YouTube, contacting Steve Bartlett. And then it was interesting as well the way that he said that he contacted Steve Bartlett near enough a year before. Steve Bartlett picked up his phone, went on Instagram, found him, and then saw the message that he'd actually messaged him, and then said, right, let's do something with him. So
I think it was weird for us because we watched a different YouTuber called Geo Wizard, and he did a challenge where he was kicking a football across Hayden's Wall, I think, and he had the hardest geezer of us turn up in that one, so we kind of knew about him from that, and then we saw it was like, oh, he's going to try and do this challenge, so we kind of started watching along when he's quite small, and suddenly everyone now knows him, talks about him, so it's very impressive to see the journey.
Obviously, you, Callum, that's my questions, thank you.
Cheers, Sean. So I've got some questions just for you now, Thomas. Okay. So you've held multiple leadership roles recently, moving from secretary to president of Manchester Road Runners. So what's your overall vision for Manchester Road Runners, and what's the biggest goal that you hope to achieve during your presidency?
Sounds so major, that.
Yeah. I feel like I should have a podium here or something.
I'm worried you're going to stop a war or something.
Take credit for everything. So I think kind of being in charge now of the club nearly 2 years, kind of transformed it quite a bit from beforehand. It kind of had someone in charge and kind of no democratic processes in place. So kind of the first one I did, I kind of moved from secretary to president and introduced elections that we had for the first time, which was really good to see. And I kind of wanted to make the club sustainable. So I think it was at a time where a lot of people who had been there for quite a long period of time was kind of, they were either moving away or kind of, they'd been at the club long enough that they kind of want to take a step back. So the first big one was to make the club sustainable and kind of bring in some new kind of committee members, some new ambassadors, and kind of make sure the club could expand. As I think it was 2020, you were kind of seeing that running boom properly coming at that point where there was a potential to get a lot more people interested in the club and kind of a lot more activities happening. So we brought in kind of democracy, which has gone on really well actually, and we've had 2 AGMs now, which have both had a really good turnout. And I think my first main goal, and it's kind of weird, so I feel like because I've been in it 2 years now, kind of a lot of my initial goals or kind of vision has kind of come into place at this point, and from kind of further, I have further visions which I can get to, but it was kind of trying to make Wednesdays as best as they can be. So that was kind of introducing the intervals group, kind of making sure we had more leaders, and just I think it's really important to make people feel seen. And I think we've had that also at Run Wild, is that we want, whether you've been there coming along for kind of 5 years or whether it's your first time, everyone's welcome and everyone wants to be seen and kind of made to feel important. So we want, we introduced kind of a more social side on Wednesdays afterwards where people would stay for a drink or get some food. And as soon as we started doing that, at first it was a few of us that would stay, and then nowadays I think it's probably overtaken the actual run itself. So you'll get a lot of people if they're injured or just kind of don't feel like running that much, really just kind of turning up for that kind of Wednesday social side where they've either just moved to Manchester and want to make some new friends, or they've been here for a while now, they have that kind of friendship group that they form there, that they come along and kind of form those really important kind of social connections. A lot of stuff I think I did with kind of Run Wild and found really important was kind of the Run and Talk scheme, which was kind of about kind of going on runs and kind of forming these conversations and kind of getting people talking and kind of making those connections, and kind of also talking about mental health in that. And I think the kind of friendship side and making sure people can kind of feel like and form those friendships has been crucial. Kind of once we saw kind of Wednesdays picking up a road running, so I was then kind of looking into what else we can do, and I think just the kind of increasing on Wednesdays for that side is that you then get all these wonderful kind of volunteers and ambassadors that kind of want to come and help out and kind of also do their own things. So we were lucky to get volunteers who would come and kind of run our Sunday long run sessions, which is then you can get your separate group who are going to do that, and then expand the club in that way. And then we started doing cross country, which was very different for our club, especially being called Road Runners. So we had a very good, successful first 2 seasons where we kind of went from Division 3 to Division 1 back to back. But then last year, unfortunately, we're at Division 2 now with the men's. But I think, yeah, we're going to try and get back up to Division 1 this year. We just had a lot of injuries last year, unfortunately, but also kind of getting the women's team more participants in that, which you've kind of done every one of them.
I missed one
since we've been
in
there.
The last few years. I had 100% record attendance, but not anymore. The women's team was great because I don't even think we had enough to form a team in the first year, because one race that we did, we unfortunately
someone went the wrong way.
Someone went the wrong way. So we actually, and they were really honest about it. So we actually got disqualified. So when we did have enough people, we then didn't. So, but like that, to me, it never really mattered to me. I just wanted to run it anyway. But yeah, the second year, I don't know if it was second or third year, but we did have enough women, and that was really exciting. And now it's even bigger, and there was like 2 teams, and I was like, this is great. So we're slowly getting more women interested, and just like a big range of abilities as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's really good. When you said before about having an ambassador over a volunteer or a leader in running and fitness, what would be the difference in them? So if there's someone, if there's another club that, not to steal that model, but to try and get other people involved more in the club, how would you differentiate them roles?
Sure. So I think at Road Runners we call all of our volunteers ambassadors. It was there long before I joined, so I don't know how the name originally came, but I think there's a lot of roles in the kind of running clubs and kind of committees and kind of organisation where it's not just necessarily run leading. So a lot of the stuff we found success with and kind of getting people to come along was kind of through social media and kind of advertisement that way. And there's so much work that can go into that, but then if it's not run leading, you're not a leader, I guess, technically speaking. So we go for the term ambassadors to kind of cover everything. So there's a huge amount of behind the scenes work to kind of make the club successful, and we want everyone to feel recognised in that regard. I think the most important thing we found is just kind of listening to those volunteers and ambassadors. So through introducing that kind of democratic process, and then also kind of inviting everyone to kind of have their opinions on a lot of the decisions we make, and some of the most crucial ones that we had to make recently is kind of it would go out to a vote for committee, but also kind of getting the feedback from the ambassadors and properly acknowledging that, because I think if you don't listen to your volunteers, they're not going to come anymore, and without your volunteers you can't do anything really to keep the club going.
That's really good how you can, because a lot of clubs might only see it as the committee are the only ones that make that decision, but that decision can impact so many people within the club. Yeah, they really do need that feedback. Yeah,
without them the club wouldn't work, so we have to keep them happy and listen to them, and kind of we have something now where we do end of year awards for our ambassadors, which I think a lot of clubs do, but we kind of also do a monthly shout out to kind of ambassador of the month, to kind of recognise anyone who's gone kind of above and beyond for that month. And
I'd say run leader and ambassador are interchangeable, I would say. Right. However, some people do stuff on top, so like organise trips abroad or do social media or stuff outside of that. But I'd say I think everybody is a ambassador run leader. Not everybody has LERF, but some people might. We got ours from our previous club, but it lasts quite a long time if you just renew like every 3 years, isn't it?
And then we try and pass on everything we kind of learned from LERF to kind of other leaders there, and kind of make sure we're kind of all compliant with those processes.
And I know Ancoats, we've run led for them a couple of times, but they also have just got a few people LERF qualified, haven't they?
Yeah, I went to supervise the training and do the videos for them, which was very good fun. And I think luckily, because I had LERF at Run Wild, and then
it's actually been very useful. For especially because you can we used to do Birchfield's community run, didn't we? So it's a Great Run used to do what were they called? Great Run Local. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Yeah. Kind of like a parkrun structure.
It's one at Depdale Park, far from there.
Yeah, so you could sort of choose what
5k, 2k.
Different distances, and then they could choose the day that they wanted to run. And it was in Birchfield, so we helped with that, didn't we? In terms of
because they abandoned and then they needed LERF leaders.
So they needed they want to set it up on Run Together, didn't they? So we helped with that with our LERF, but we don't go as much anymore.
And I guess,
but they're a great group as well. But stuff like that, we can helps with that as well.
I think probably to loop back to your original question, because I guess this for kind of future vision of Road Runners is probably to kind of find someone else to kind of take over from me eventually, and kind of be as passionate and kind of almost get it to a place where I'm not needed anymore, so you have all the roles to cover it. And I think we're nearly there really, which is been great to see.
You can really tell that both of your passions do come through. Just speaking to you now, it really does. I do think you need a day off because we're going to talk about something else.
Yeah.
So the Manchester 24-hour Run Against Homelessness is now a national event, raising over £114,000. What inspired the funding for this event in 2019, and how does it feel to see the concept expand across the country? So if you can give us like day one and then to now. We might be here all night.
Yeah, you might be here all night. Just did 24 hours in Sheffield, so kind of still catching up on sleep from that one. Back in 2019, both at Run Wild Manchester, we were I guess on my side I was inspired by a guy called Paul Burns, who did these kind of 10Ks around university campus kind of for his own fundraising events. And he did it yearly, and kind of it was his personal challenge. And I think as a society, we were at a very good point where everything else was going on. We were kind of looking for a fun challenge to do. So we wanted to do a 24-hour, so we came up with kind of doing a 24-hour event, but we want, and kind of getting into the ultra running side, but we wanted to make it as accessible as possible. So we decided then on the kind of 5K format where anyone can join, and kind of to make the event easy to kind of host on insurance purposes, it was like we'd do it as a group run, so everyone stays together. It's done as a running club, so effectively it's just a running club that happens 40 to 48 times in a row, depending on how many laps and how long the laps take during that time. And then we decided on homelessness as a kind of cause we'd want to kind of support and kind of raise money for, as I think in my experience, kind of during the kind of few years of uni leading up to it, I kind of saw more and more people experiencing homelessness from the streets. And we had the idea that if we kind of chose a local charity, we'd kind of get more interest or more eyes on it, and you can see that direct impact that it would have. So I think we decided on so we were on the Greater Manchester Mayor's charity, and specifically this scheme they have called A Bed Every Night, where all the kind of money goes towards providing support for people to find, to go into emergency accommodation, but instead of kind of being moved around during that period, once they're there, they kind of stay there, so they don't kind of have that disruption kind of being moved around. And I think we kind of discovered the charity when they were really early on too. So I think firstly they didn't even have the kind of where you could raise and Just Giving directly for them. But then since then they've kind of expanded massively, and they've hosted some massive events. And I think every year, so we did it in 2019 and we had no idea if anyone would turn up or even care really. So we had Charlton Runners turn up, we had Manchester Road Runners and a couple of other clubs, and it was great to see that support. But it was mainly us students at that point. Our first lap had one person on it, which was Jonathan Hayes, and the overnight stretch was tough. We didn't even have a venue open for the entire time, so we were outside for a few hours outside the SU.
Yes,
in
we were
a
based
gazebo.
The University Student Union.
And we only really wanted to raise £1,000, but we far exceeded that. And then we had COVID, which was its own massive challenges. So luckily you could have two people run together during the time, so we kind of did it as run leaders ourselves, but at a virtual event, and that got a lot of eyes on it, which we didn't expect. And I think the biggest scale was 2021, because we didn't know whether we had a spike in interest purely because it went virtual. And then when people showed up and actually came, we're like, oh, okay, we're on to something here. And then it's just kind of doubled every year from that. So last year was the first year where we franchised out with Birmingham as a concept, and it worked, which was great to see. So we luckily found a student club called URMB called Run-Ins, which had basically they had runners for the entire time, and it proved an event could work outside of Manchester, which is great.
We actually didn't know, but they'd made their own rota to have somebody there, like each hour or maybe every half an hour.
Yeah.
So we were like, we need to get them to be like the host club. Yeah.
And then Manchester raised over £50,000 last year, which we never expected or could dream of. It was the equivalent of what we raised for the entirety before that. And so this year I think we started organising this year since January, February really. So we've become a charitable trust now. We have trustees, and we're in 5 cities. So far we've done Hereford, and we had Sheffield just this weekend. We've got Birmingham in 2 weekends, Leeds in 4 weekends, in 4 weeks, and Manchester's kind of grand finale midweek in 5.5 weeks. But I don't think we ever expected to get to this point when we initially came up with it. And
how much did you make in year one?
Year one was 2,800, I think. year 2 was about 4,500. I think I have the most of them memorised.
Yeah, 2,800 for the first year.
Sounds like a pitch in Dragon's Den.
Yeah, it does. Show my
It's crazy though how it's escalated.
Yeah, I think this year we've already passed 10,000 between all events. So
all events, yeah.
Yeah, Hereford far exceeded any expectations we have, Dave.
Yeah.
We had a club called Hereford Couriers kind of come behind it and massively support it, and then Sheffield we had Run Happy RC, which had leaders for every lap, which it made our lives easy really. So, and we hit our fundraising goal of 3,200 for that one, which again we set these goals and we don't really know what to expect because we don't know whether anyone will actually care in those cities. So it's always good to see.
So when's the Manchester one?
So Manchester is on the 12th and 13th of November. So it's the only one that's kind of midweek. So we go from Wednesday to Thursday for that one, from midday to midday. We started midweek as it was the longest period of time the SU was open.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So then we didn't have to be outside for too long, and then.
Also, students tend to have, at least University of Manchester, tend to have Wednesday afternoon
off. That's right. Yeah.
For sports.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably another reason why we chose it.
And then we choose the time in Manchester. We always do it during International Friendly Week, just so then we don't have to worry about the football teams being on and the increased kind of disruption in the city for that one. And then we found kind of from the most recent events, a lot of people will use their volunteer days at work for it, or kind of get their companies involved, and we found a lot of success from kind of getting new companies interested and kind of fundraise matching their employees' efforts. So yeah, I think I still can't believe where we got to, and the fact it's gone so smoothly so far with the 2 new events as well, up to this point has been really great to see.
If anybody listening wanted to show support, I mean obviously they can contribute to the fundraising, but in terms of actually coming and taking part, can people come on and get involved? Yeah,
definitely. So you can simply just turn up at any point, kind of join the 24 hours in Manchester, kind of between midday Wednesday, midday Thursday, and join on to the next lap. So you can join for one lap or several. It's completely kind of on your own ability. We ask that any clubs that want to take part, organisations, just to kind of go onto our website and fill out the club form, just as we try and space out the clubs as much as we can do. With the kind of popularity of Manchester now, we've moved from being a kind of continuous relay during the Wednesday evening slots to kind of going every 20 minutes now, kind of run leaders, just to make sure we don't have too many people on one lap. And we even have pace groups now for every kind of slot in the evening too, just to kind of keep it manageable and safe in that regard. And yeah, this year we have an incredible venue, which is House of Social, and also First Street, where they've been really good at supporting us. So they've got lots of food options for everyone to celebrate afterwards, and also a bar too, where once you've done your challenge, you can celebrate with a drink.
That's ace. Yeah. I'm glad you said about volunteer days, because my work do that. So.
They come in handy.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Yeah. And Andy Vernon may even show his face.
Maybe. That's a maybe.
Should be. That's fine.
Hopefully.
He was there last year.
Yeah, he did really well last year.
So can you tell us about your experience as a Commonwealth baton bearer in 2022 and what it was like to represent your community in that capacity?
It was incredible really. So at first, initially, I didn't think I got selected for it. So I don't think, from what I remember, the relay didn't really come through Manchester. And about a month or two later, I got an email asking if I wanted to come up to Darwin to carry the baton. So I got extremely lucky on the day as well that I think one baton bearer didn't turn up, so I got given a double leg to do, which also kind of involved finishing on the podium with the, I think, Mayor of Darwin and Blackburn, where you give a very big speech. So it almost felt like graduation. I was quite nervous. I was like, don't do anything to muck it up. There's going to be a lot of eyes on you. And kind of you get briefed beforehand where it's like, do not let go of the baton at all, basically. So yeah, once I got, it went by really, really quickly for the run, and you get your kind of security unit around you, where I think I heard one of them say, like, oh, he's a runner, and you were there supporting with a bunch of friends, and it's kind of surreal to have kind of all the eyes on you, and kind of
made a lot of friends come over, and then Charlie came over from Birmingham as well, so he helps organise the Hereford 24 hour. Well, he's organiser of Hereford 24 hour run. So he came as well. That's nice. But I remember we all got a picture when you were with the mayor, and you were like, touch it. Because you weren't going to have a chance. Touch it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, luckily they let us get the photo of friends, but I was on the podium for I think about 5 to 10 minutes, kind of while I was holding it, and then people were trying to hold it and grab it at the same time. I was like, can't let go. You could see the security looking at me, kind of a tiny bit nervous.
They basically gave you a prep, didn't they? They were like, don't give it to anyone. You're not allowed to let go of it. So when you were like getting a photo, I was like, don't worry.
Yeah. So yeah, really enjoyed it. It was an incredible experience. Like, I think for the 2012 Olympics, they did the whole baton relay across the country, and for it came past our school, so we all went out and kind of watched it come past. So kind of be part of that, something similar to that. It was incredible, really.
It was for 24-hour run, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
as in like that's why you got nominated.
Yeah, it was 24-hour run and was the main nomination, and also because I was the national young volunteer of the year for England athletics in 2020. So that all kind of contributed to me carrying it. Yeah.
It's a good job you won an award for the amount of stuff that you do for running. So we're going to come on to another thing that you do. You lead runs for Matchroom boxing before Saturday night fights.
Yeah.
That's quite unique.
It's very diverse portfolio.
Yeah. All adds to the LinkedIn page, really. Yeah, so that was kind of not a weird one, but just kind of came out of the blue, really. So we got an email to Manchester Road Ruunners back last year asking if we kind of could give some leaders or come up with a route for the 5-day 5K before one of the events they had in Manchester. And yeah, I'm a big boxing fan, a big kind of fan of Eddie Hearn and kind of everything else. So I was like, yeah, of course, we'll definitely do this. And they kind of throw in some free tickets for us kind of volunteering. So we jumped at the opportunity, really. So we did the first one, and they were really kind of impressed and happy with how it went. And it's a thing they kind of were building up before and kind of doing around different cities. So I think Eddie started doing ones during lockdown, and then kind of kept it going from fight nights after COVID, and then people started joining him, and it got to a point where he had so many people joining him, it kind of had to become a more official thing. So we do all the ones that come to Manchester, and then we try and join everyone's throughout the UK now with so we have the backpack speakers that we bring along to kind of provide an atmosphere, and then
so do a separate it's called Run the Streets. They do monthly party runs, you call it, like runs with backpacks, and you pay for a ticket, and then the ticket will be donated to charity. So as part of that, Run the Streets like collab with Matchroom and then bring the speakers for the run, just to give a bit of a party vibe. Because
it's really good.
And I think we had the one before the Eubank versus Conor Benn fight, which everyone wanted to do in London, which was crazy for the turnout.
That was
probably the biggest run I've seen there. But
that was huge,
I think the most impressive thing I found from it is that, I guess similar to us, Eddie Hearn, he's a huge public figure, and he's definitely busy on those Saturdays, but he'll take his time during that event to kind of, if anyone wants to say hi to him, he'll speak to them, he'll get photos with them. And the same for all the fighters, they take time out of their very busy days to kind of, make sure people who are coming on like feel appreciated, and they're really good with all the kids too. So it's a very different environment. You get a lot of guys bringing their kids along to kind of meet the fighters and kind of come on the run, and it's a very different crowd to what you'd find at any kind of running club or whatever event. But it's just really wholesome in that regard too.
Yeah, it brings a lot of the boxing community together, and then has a crossover with the running as well. But there are a lot of like local boxing clubs who are big fans of these boxers as well. Yeah. Who, like, not that we're not, but obviously like they're like,
it's their sport.
They're huge fans. They do boxing all the time. So for them it's like a big event. But Alex and Kai, they organise them alongside you, don't they? So they do a really good job.
We're going to the one in Sheffield next week, and then there's the one in London in November. And I think you had a very wholesome experience where, we did the most recent Manchester one, and I think someone pulled over their van being like, oh my god, it's Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, it was just somebody finishing a night shift, and they just happened to pull up their bike, and then Eddie Hearn was just running past. I was like marshalling up the road, and then they went past, and he was like, was that Eddie Hearn? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, stop right in the best location.
I just wouldn't imagine him running, but do you?
He's quite quick. So the backpacks, they're not too heavy, but 5K's enough for them basically. Yeah. And I'm trying to keep up with Eddie when he's doing about 22 minutes 30 for the 5K's, and it's a good workout on that side. Yeah. He's definitely picking up the pace.
Well, I think we had a range of paces for the first run, didn't we? It was in Manchester. I missed a parkrun for that one.
Yeah.
It was the day before Manchester Marathon, so I was like, I can't do 2 5Ks. So we did the boxing run, but we did a range of paces, didn't we? But I think previously they have done events where the first person back would win VIP tickets. So this run that we did, it was rapid, and I was like, I don't think I'm needed back here. Like nobody's here, but it was still a great run.
Well, that's all my questions for you, Thomas. So I'll hand over to Katie.
Thank you, Callum. So I've got some questions for you, Molly. So you're the lead organiser for the Emma Horrell Canal 10K, I believe. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a canal 10K for Manchester Road Ruunners. It has actually been going, I think it's 10 years. Is it 10 years? 10 years, but not every year, because there was a bit of a gap during COVID, and then a couple of years after that. But it was renamed to the Emma Horrell Canal 10K because Emma was a former member of Manchester Road Runners who sadly passed away with cardiac issues. So she was a big advocate for cardiac risk in the young charity. So we renamed the race in her memory, and then also all the fun, all the profits of the race go towards that charity. So it's just a nice...
Yeah, so when is that race then?
So it's a
varies
a little bit.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, so I've been the lead organiser for the past 2 years. So 2 years ago it was in September, and then this year just gone it was in July, so we changed it a little bit. So I can't remember why we chose September.
Just to give us time to organise. I think probably we wanted to bring it back.
Yeah. And I'd also just never organised a race through EA before, so I didn't know what it involved at all, so I was sort of like, we got through it, didn't we? But I was like trying to gather if we needed permissions and who to notify and stuff like that. But it was good. I can't remember what the attendance was. Like about 40.
We had 40-ish for the first year you took it on, and then about 70 sign-ups on this year.
Yeah, obviously not everybody shows up, but we tried it. So it's very good, and it's very good to organise, and it's nice to have an insight into everything you need for a race, because I just wasn't aware. Even like the organising the race bags and medals and all that. Luckily I had a lot of help from Chris Ryder, so he's like original founder of Road Runners, and he's done the Canal 10K quite a few years, so he had a box of stuff and he just delivered it to our house and could organise it from there. But bit more, I was able to a bit earlier on this year in terms of organisation. So
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think we know from the Tameside 5K there's so much that goes on behind the scenes.
So much documentation.
Yeah,
it is.
And items, like stuff you don't think would take time, just takes forever.
Yeah.
Like the packing race bags took us the longest.
The race bag. And then we got new ribbons for the medals. And I, for some reason, we did part of them last year. And then I forgot half of them hadn't been re-ribboned, shall we say. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do all these ribbons by hand. And I was there like trying to do that and then trying to do the race packs. But luckily, like I put a little shout out onto the chat, onto the Road Runners chat. And I was like, if anyone can turn up early, I'll be forever grateful. And they did. So I was very appreciative. But we did it on a Saturday a couple of years ago. But we decided to change it to Wednesday to line up with the Road Runners' main running day, so we didn't have a normal session, but we had the race instead, just to encourage you.
Yeah. Is it something you'll plan on carry on doing?
So I'll try and be involved in the next one. I'm not lead organiser for the next one, but I will definitely be helping.
Be involved.
Yes.
Okay. And just going back to Parkrun, so we spoke about Parkrun earlier, but you were believed you were the course record holder for Peel Parkrun in week 1. So what does that little piece of Parkrun history mean to you?
Got a screenshot to remember it by. I think I can't remember. I remember going for like first place finish. Basically, Tom whispers in my ear when we go to a new parkrun. He's like, oh, maybe you could get first female at this one. So we did try and go to a couple of inaugurals, didn't we? To try, because we knew if we went to an inaugural and maybe if not a lot of people knew about it, then maybe we could get a course record for all of 1 week. So Peel, I was very proud of Peel. I tried so hard. But yeah, obviously Sophie Fairbanks, very fast runner, came the second week, and I was like, oh, bye-bye.
I think
You were very close, weren't you?
Yeah, I tried first week and just sadly not quick enough. And then second week, I think I had another shot, and then Sophie was there, so I went out with her, and I was like, no, can't keep up with this. So I think when she did it, she beat the male course record at the same time in that week.
I took screenshots.
She had to contend with Sophie Power.
Yeah.
I think we've seen her quite a few where she just goes off. She's incredibly quick. And,
She's so quick.
Yeah. I do try and get you to run fast whenever there's a chance.
I did try a couple of other ones, Clarence, but I think another lady had the same idea, because I feel like whenever I caught up with her, she was like, bye-bye. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I already have one, you can have it.
Kind of thinking about the longer distance then, so you've done marathons. So your first marathon, we believe in 2021, qualified you for a London Good for Age place. Was that right? Yeah. So how was that? How did it go?
It was good. First marathon. It was an interesting start, because it was during COVID. I feel like a lot of people say this, but during COVID we had a lot of time. So I think it was like my 24th birthday, and Run Wild used to have, or some people in Run Wild Manchester used to have a trend of running their age in kilometres. I don't know if anybody else has heard of this one, but some people used to do it in miles, which I was like, absolutely not. So I think I turned 24, and nobody could. My birthday was New Year's Day, but nobody could go out. So we were like, right, and there's no parkruns. So we were like, right, we're going to do the parkrun, a couple of parkrun routes, because back then you used to have the parkrun double. You can do 2 parkruns in one day. So we ended up doing 2 parkrun routes, but ran between them. Yeah. And then made it up to a 24k. I think we did South Manchester and Peel, maybe. Or is that too far? Or maybe Alexander and South Manchester. Probably those two.
It was the longest we ran by a mile though. At that point.
I was dead at the end. But yeah, we did 24k because I was a bit younger then, and then we just ended up doing longer runs. Yeah. Not really training for anything, but we just thought, why not? Because we got a bit of time.
And then we didn't originally. I don't think we planned to do Manchester that day, because it went to October, and we signed up. We had a place for the Cardiff Half, but then that got delayed, so we like, okay, let's go for it. And
so it was Manchester Marathon in 2021.
Yes.
That you did.
Yeah. So the October one, the only time it's been there.
Yeah, only time it's been October, I think. But
London was as well that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Summer training's great. Summer training into October.
Yeah.
But Cardiff Half was delayed because Wales had slightly stricter COVID rules, so Cardiff Half weren't able to come back yet. So it was 14 weeks to go when Cardiff Half got called off, and we were like, we could do that. That's enough time. Like, we've been doing some long runs.
Yeah.
So we just did it, didn't we?
Train together. Makes it easier.
Didn't know how it was going to go. I feel like you just you normally tell me how it's going to go. I normally don't have an idea, and you're like, you could probably do this. You could probably do that time.
So did you go into it with a time in mind?
I think by the time we were there, I did want less than qualifying time.
Right.
That was
so you had your eye on the qualifying time.
Yeah, I think I have wanted a 3:30.
Yeah.
That was like goal A. Top goal, and then like after that it was like just qualify for London, because it's moved up since then, but at 3:45 then.
We were at that point.
Yeah, and I think I got 3:36.
Right.
Because I tried it, because I was trying at the same time, but
then I couldn't. So London, because of the October time, I couldn't do the next one. I had to do 23 one.
Right.
But London was good, but the race for me was not as planned. Shall we say?
Did you have a good experience?
Just more like London was great and everyone there was great, but it's just like I just didn't pace it right. And actually, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself because it was London. And I think because you tell everyone you're doing London, I think then everyone which is absolutely lovely, but everyone's like, oh, good luck, I'll be watching. And then I just felt this pressure.
Because you've already done one marathon as well and got a good free place.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it again, but actually no, it did not go to plan. But
Manchester was the week before, so I had that, and then we had Disney World for 2 weeks before, so you had a 4-week taper, which I don't think probably helped. But then I don't.
But
did you? I think you got not slightly injured, but like had a twinge when we did your final long run in
my hip,
Florida.
but honestly, like during the race, it wasn't an issue. Do you know what I mean? I was out like afterwards a little bit, but it didn't hinder me during. It was just I think I just went too fast.
You always say that you felt you peaked in the 20 miler in Alton Park.
I did.
'Cause you won that one, which was
I did.
cool.
It was a 20 miler. That's my. I
laps.
came in and I'm like, oh, who's the winner now? Oh, me. Oh, thanks. That was a really good race.
Yeah.
We both did all right.
Yeah. So did that put you off marathon running then, or have you done any since?
Not really. I think when I did one. When did we do the last one?
So we did.
Last year?
Yeah, we did.
No?
We did. We did.
Last year.
2024. I paced you for 20 miles on that one. So we did Manchester Marathon. That's when you got your PB.
Yes. And the plan was that we would get. I really wanted sub 3:30. I was like, right, that was the time. Third one. Come on, we could do this. But you also hadn't trained as much.
I was coming back from injury.
Yeah, and so we did a lot of training together, but you weren't sure what you were going to do. And you're like, oh, I'll just pace you, you know.
Until like.
And then until whenever you can, and then so I think you paced me up till about 20 miles, wasn't it?
I think my main job was to make sure you slowed down and didn't go out too quick.
Yeah, I'm bad for that. Yeah, and then obviously it's not forgiving in a marathon, is it?
Yeah.
But then the goal was 3:30. I did want that, but also to get a qualifying Chicago time.
Right.
But Chicago hadn't released their qualifying times yet.
Right.
So what we thought was a qualifying time, because you had run under
the qualifying time and you get 2 years to
the
use it for
qualifying time.
men's.
Yeah, Chicago's 2 years to use it. So I was like, right, if I qualify this year, you can use your time from last year, and we'll both go. And then Chicago hit us with a minus
Silly
10
time.
minutes.
I
So we both didn't make it.
Yeah. I had a lot of heartbreak with qualifying times and thinking I was under enough, and then it got adjusted. So Boston and London and everything else.
So have you parked that now, or is it still something that you?
We have entered. Well,
We're signed up next year.
For next year, but I don't. I think when I did the 3:30, I was in better fitness at this point. So I don't know if maybe in the future, but maybe not.
I feel like
soon, but
at least for me, I don't know for you. I feel like there's a strong correlation between the amount of like organisation and volunteering we do for running clubs, and how involved we are and how quick we actually are.
How much we can run.
Yeah, I think that like if we're not organised as therefore volunteering or trying to promote events, or even we'd probably spend that time running instead. But then I think at least with the build up for the 24 hours this year, or even just road runners as it's got bigger, kind of spending more time on the organisation side and not running as much. So.
Yeah.
But different ways of enjoying it.
But
this year we are signed up for
training
April.
block will start after 24-hour runs.
Yes.
So maybe we can do a bit more running.
Yeah.
And it finishes outside the uni this year, which is why we signed up.
That's one of the
Oh,
reasons.
yeah,
The new finish line is awesome.
Yeah. And just another race, you won the Wings for Life World Run in Manchester 2024. So I guess that's quite a unique achievement. Just tell us a little bit about the race format and how you manage your pace and strategies to catch a car closed in.
I really like Wings for Life. So it's how would you describe it? So you set off. It's with Red Bull as well, so 2 Red Bull events. You set off and you get, I don't know, how long is it? Half an hour to run, however fast you want. And then they'll set off a pacer car, and it will be a set pace. I can't remember how many miles per hour.
I will say it starts at 12 kilometres an hour, but maybe wrong.
Kilometres an hour, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds right. They set it off at a set pace. So you're still running, but this car is gradually catching you, and then every half
an hour it speeds up. Yeah.
It speeds up, so eventually you will get caught. But I just really like the concept of
Where is it, that race?
So this one...
It's Phillips Park. So Manchester was a virtual event, so you have your phone on you, but they had a proper setup. So they had a set course, and volunteers there just didn't have to catch a car. Last year it didn't happen in Manchester. No, this year it didn't happen in Manchester, unfortunately. But then, everyone sets off around the world at the same time, so you can see your global position too, which is really cool.
Yes, so it is a worldwide event, isn't it?
And this was your post-marathon fitness.
Yeah,
so
I was getting off the fitness from there.
I think you just go for it there and hope you hold on.
It's a difficult one to pace. Yeah, everyone sets off around the world at the same time. there's in-person events where you actually have a physical car, and they look really cool.
Yeah.
And then the Manchester one is still an event, but you use your phone, so it tells you when it speeds up, and it's all for charity as well. It's for spinal cord research.
So your entry goes directly to that.
Yeah, and then you can have a purely virtual one where you just use your phone and you can run wherever you want. But the Manchester one a couple of years ago, you did it, but I actually couldn't do it.
Yeah, COVID.
Because I got COVID. But you could send messages, so I was like dying at home, but I was like, go on, Tom. And I sent him a little virtual message. But
that scared me the first time that happened.
Yeah.
I
just think it's a really cool event. But yeah, when we initially signed up at the National Running Show because we saw a stand there, and you did it before, so we were like, we'll sign up again. But we thought it would be in Platfields,
nice and flat,
relatively flat. And then after we signed it, we were like, oh, actually, where is it? And they were like, oh, it's in Phillips Park. And we were like, oh no, it's so hilly.
That's cool though. You won it.
Yeah. I think pacing wise, we actually thought we were going to do more than what we did. We were very ambitious, and then it was really warm and really hilly, and I just tried to go as long as possible. But it was really fun.
Cool.
It was good.
Yeah, that's.
And then both times we've been there, they've always do like a post-run pie, and
they did.
So much free food and drinks. And not
so
many people turned up.
In Northern Quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah,
cool. Brilliant. Well, that's all my questions, so I'm going to hand over to Dave.
Thank you, Katie. All right, well, welcome both of you. It's been great to hear so far about all your amazing efforts.
Thank you.
Before I get onto the questions I've got in front of me, I just wanted to ask Thomas about his first encounter with me.
Yes.
Sinister. Yeah. So I remember pacing the Manchester half. I think it was 2019. I was pacing 1 hour 30, and it's one of them when you're pacing, you've got a big group, and the group whittles down, and it got to that point in the last mile, I think, where you were the only person still running with me, and I think you took 20 minutes off your PB. You told me at the finish. Is that right?
It's something crazy. So it was like I got into training and kind of wanted to massively improve at that point. So kind of going from kind of a more kind of social running and kind of not training too much for the house and actually putting in proper training for it. So there was also my friend Peter Halloway there who kind of
I remember he ran a lot with us as well.
I think the most important part of that is like you come out of Cholton. I think Cholton's a great pick me up, and then there's not much crowd, and it's just that very long straight. And then you were there, and at that point I was really, really hurting, but you were really encouraging. So we managed to turn the corner and have a mini sprint afterwards. And I think I added the video where across the line I looked like I'm about to be sick, and then you crossed too, and I get really high. But like having that support there and kind of having the pace of it, having you guys pace of it was incredible. So we always remember that as that kind of 90-minute goal was. I think when I first started, when I never thought I'd ever get to that point, and I think doing 5k at that pace, I was like, oh my god, that's an incredible achievement. So to do it for a half done at that period of my life, it's incredible.
So 20-minute PB, and then of course since then you've gone on to run even faster than that for the full marathon, 2:55. So we did run through your PBs before we started. I'll just repeat them again now. So your PBs are 17:23 for 5k, 35:43 for 10k, 82:26 for the half, and that 2:55:54 for the marathons. Which of those PBs would you consider to be your best? What would you say out of those?
That's a really good question. I reckon, by power 10 or whatever national rankings, I think the 10k is probably the best out of them.
35:43, and I did look before. I think you did that Wilmslow, didn't you?
Wilmslow 10k, probably the best 10k race there is out there, I reckon. I think I nearly set my 5k PB on the first 5k on that downhill. I kind of survived on for dear life in the second. But kind of mentally, I think the marathon, so it was kind of my second attempt at it, and I think getting the pacing right on the day and kind of pushing through. I think the first time I managed to get to about 35k on my first attempt, and then had to walk a couple of times and kind of you see the 3 hour pace to come past, and it's like, oh no, I've blown up here. Done all this work for nothing, but no, it's still a good time on the first attempt. And then the second time, kind of the last 8k was probably the most hardest 8k of my life. Kind of tunnel vision starting in, and then at that point it's just one foot in front of the other and kind of make it to the finish line in that regard.
I think that 2:55 marathon probably feels so big because a sub-3 marathon is such a benchmark for runners everywhere really. So
you got me a nice top to celebrate that as well. You got me
The Ben Parks top.
Yeah. So I think even if I never managed to do step 3 again, it's like I did it. It's forever there really.
You have a cool half time.
Oh yeah, I do. Yes, I do. So probably out of order is my most happiest race time or most is I did the Manchester half in 1 year in 1 hour 23:45. So we always had a fin between friends. It's like, oh, could anyone run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, that's cool time.
I did that completely unintentional. I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably a bit more impressive than the PB. And
That's cool.
I think I turned down the finish line and I looked at the watch and was like, okay, maybe if I sprint here, I could do it. So
It's no guarantee you could get it bang on though, so that's why it's cool.
I crossed the line and the watch said 1 hour 23:47. I was like, please, 2-second adjustment. I stopped my watch shooting. Just hopefully I had it, and
That's cool.
okay, so moving on to the questions I've got in front of me. So you both ran in the inaugural Marathon Porto in Paris. So can you describe the atmosphere on the streets of Paris that day and what it felt like to be part of the first ever mass participation marathon that was held during an Olympic Games?
Amazing.
It was so unique. So I guess to give context to it, we had the men's marathon in the morning at 8 a.m. So we went and watched that and saw all the elites and everything else and saw how tired they looked at the 35k coming downhill. And then ours started at 9 p.m. in the evening.
God.
So started at 9 p.m. It was 26 or 28 degrees when we started. So they implemented kind of more water stations than planned. So they basically had a water station every 2.5k in that one. And when we watched the men's marathon, there were crowds for it, but it wasn't anything kind of spectacular. And when we set off, it was huge crowds wherever we looked in Paris. Really, it felt like a party really when we were out there. And
I couldn't believe it.
No,
that so many people were out so late, even when we were finishing.
Yes.
What?
2:30 in the morning. No, not 2:30.
Past
1:30.
About 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And like, there was people still lining the streets. I was like, these people aren't in bed. Like, but it was so cool.
It's such a strange time to be finishing a marathon.
Yeah.
Really, really tough course. So it's kind of uphill from 15k to kind of you went out to the Palace of Versailles.
I think I remember watching the elite marathon, and I remember in particular Emile Caresse really pulling through on that hill.
It
ended up being intervals for us. We basically intervaled between the water stations, and the water stations were these really like kind of smallish, tough plastic cups, so you couldn't run and drink them. So it's kind of run to it, take it, walk, drink it, and then go again. And
that was our excuse anyway, wasn't it? Can't run with them, can't fold them. So
we had a massive celebration when we passed by Kitchobi. Stopped. Yes, we beat Kitchobi. we beat the goat. Yeah. Just for that, we got through it. And then,
it was tough. It was really
such a unique experience.
Yeah.
I think if I never get into any ballots for like one of the majors, I think that's the one that I would have wanted. So
really unique way of getting in as well. Because I don't know if anyone.
Fireworks in the background.
It was like an app, and you downloaded an app, and then you did like a Strava style challenges. You know, so when it says run a 10k between this week and this week, so to get a 2-week window you've got to run a 10k or something. So but luckily we were marathon training when we were doing this app, so actually a lot of them we were just ticking off because we were doing quite a lot of mileage at the time. And then so basically every challenge you complete, they would pull 2 people from that challenge to win a bib into the marathon. And I just think we were really lucky.
Yeah, we got so lucky.
Yeah, or you build up enough points from doing all the challenges that you enter a ballot in the end, but we didn't have to go
because we got
through that. But I thought I was just going to be a good supporter, you know, because Tom got it first, so I was like, oh great, well I'll just support then, I'll have a good time. And then I got mine probably about a month later, something like that. So it was really cool. But hills were tough. I think because we knew the course was tough as well, I was like, right, we're gonna have to put a marathon in beforehand in April, so that's why we did Manchester as well, because otherwise I think we said we were going to train too hard for this race and not like enjoy it.
But then also it wasn't ratified for like good wage or anything, so
Yeah, you couldn't even though it was the Olympic marathon
you couldn't
course,
use it
but you
for-
couldn't use it for anything.
Yeah.
As in like qualifying time wise.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think I would be able to because it was so hard.
I
I think we went up a hill at one point, and I looked around, and everyone was walking, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
good."
Yeah,
At least I'm not the only
one where
one.
Mail Crest kind of pulled away.
Yeah, that was a crazy hill.
Steeper in person.
Okay, so we've chatted with you on WhatsApp during the preparations for this episode about your filming of all the parkrun routes in Greater Manchester, which is really, really impressive and a great source of information for local runners and runners, of course, travelling to the area from to do these parkruns for the first time. So just talk us through that, and one thing I'd like to ask as well is what was the most surprisingly beautiful or challenging parkrun route that you discovered during this project?
So I think, well, it's kind of both of our ideas really. So during lockdown, we kind of missed parkrun in that regard and kind of had the idea of, we could do some time lapses. So we bought a gimbal, and I ended up, so bought a gimbal for the phone. I'd be the person behind kind of filming it and kind of editing the videos, and then you were the star, to say the least. And I think we did one of them, and it got some views on Facebook. So like, okay, we'll go and do all the others, and kind of posted it out as a series. Kind of got a bit better at editing the videos and filming them over time as well.
I think the first one we did was just on your phone,
Just
without
holding
a
it
gimbal,
steady
trying
and
to hold it.
time lapsing it.
And then we did it. I think I must have been Parkrun sec.
Yeah, at the time.
Or maybe
yeah,
not.
it was
but
during
with Run
COVID.
Wild, they didn't have their regular Parkrun meetups. We were like, we'll go film our local one.
Yeah, post out on a Saturday.
And then it just continued from there.
I think
For anybody listening who wanted to see these videos, they're on the Run Wild Manchester Facebook page, is that right?
Yeah, so they're on Run Wild Facebook and YouTube.
On YouTube
so
as
so
well,
we did it under the club at that point,
Yeah.
and kept posting them. And then I think prettiest, I feel like, so Out of the Edge didn't exist at this point, and there's been a couple of new ones since. In my mind, it was Line was the most
Line
stunning.
Park.
Yeah.
But
and
also tough.
yeah, we watched, because actually some of these parkruns we hadn't done yet. So we had to scroll through Strava a lot to try and get a route.
Yeah.
And then look at other videos that had been made. And then Tom and I were watching Lime Park and trying to work out why there was because there's a lot of people walking towards the end of Lime Park. We're like, but it just looks like a grass section on the video. And then we got there, and you can see I slowly disappear from the camera because I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it was quite tough because sometimes the course maps aren't up to date. Occasionally on the parkrun, or it's hard to follow it. So Water Grove was also really, really tough, but beautiful out there.
Well, I've done that one. It's tough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think at the time it was the 5th hardest.
Yeah, I think it's on that list, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the top 10, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it ranks 5 anymore, but I think still up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when parkrun came back, we had it where people would come up to you and be like, "Oh, you did the parkrun videos," and you're a startup girl because you always did a startup at the start of videos, and you've been recognised a few times from it now, which has been quite nice.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, hi. But there are a few we're missing now, aren't there? We did, at the time, it was all of them in Manchester, but there have been a few more since then.
We need to come back.
Oldley Park,
The Phillips Park one's quite new, isn't it? Have you done that?
Phillips,
That-
we have...
it's our local now.
It is our local.
Yeah, so
And what's the other one we haven't done? Clarence.
yeah, not plans.
Yeah. Been to all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When you get recognised from the videos, you might be getting recognised from this podcast afterwards. Okay, so next question. As leaders of local run clubs and organisers of major events, what is one key trend or change you've noticed in the Manchester running community over the past year?
It's a very good one. Do you want to go first, or kind of?
I don't know, everybody mentions the running boom, don't they? Everybody mentions more people are getting involved. I do think there is a lot of pressure on the way things look sometimes. I don't know, I feel I don't know.
Well, style and kind of.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more pressure now on kind of social media and kind of the look of running gear too, and kind of the appearance of runs and everything. I think it's probably what you're.
Yeah. I have noticed that a little bit. However, I'm on the other end where I come to this club every week. I look sweaty every week. I'm just take me as I am. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I've got a positive one and probably a negative one in my mind. I think the most positive I've seen in like the last year at Road Runners and kind of other clubs is that the average pace of everything and kind of what we're seeing from kind of participants has got kind of steadier. So we're getting a lot more people kind of coming along who are new or kind of even regular runners who are kind of at a steadier pace, which has been really good to see. Or that I think by far now the 5k group at Road Runners is the most popular by a mile.
Oh yeah,
and
that's the biggest.
It'd be the 5k group and now it'd be bigger than the rest of the groups combined. And that's been incredible to see, really great to see. And then I think when we looked at the Emma Horrell Canal 10k, it's like the biggest request we had was like, could we do a 5k on the same day? So that's been really good because 10k is just too far for a lot of people, which is kind of easy to kind of forget when you run so regularly as well. And I think the only negative, and I've kind of seen a lot more of, is that I think because of the running boom and all these clubs now being a lot more popular, being so many clubs, is that I think there's a bit more community pushback as well at the moment. So like a few negative Facebook comments on some clubs, or I see a lot of it about Parkrun where you kind of get people throwing in complaints and everything else. And I think almost the tolerance for runners has gone down a bit in the city, but I think that's just because it's so much more popular, where about a year ago I just didn't really see it.
I think it correlates, doesn't it, with more running clubs, so maybe seen more, and then
you see it every year after the Manchester Marathon, the Manchester Half. You know, I've been stuck on my street for so many hours.
Oh yeah. We always send volunteers to the half on marathon and stuff, and like some of our marshals get the abuse from people in their cars, being like, I wasn't told about this, get out of my way and try to drive past. It's like,
I'm really sorry.
And even just from family, well, friends and their parents and stuff, like ranting about the marathon and the road closures, it's not that, it's like 8 hours, like, and it raises so much money for charitable causes and also for people's health. And I think it's
difficult because we're runners.
Yeah.
We're like, it's only a road closure, but then like we don't live on that street to be fair, so I don't know.
So hopefully the complaints will stop, but
Okay, now that you've achieved so much in terms of your event organising and your own personal goals, what does your next big joint running adventure look like?
I guess personally we got the marathon next year, so I think I went around telling people I want to go and try and get a stupid time, which I think the final marathon goal would be to like run it at 4-minute pace exactly, which I think is a 2:48. But we'll see how training goes on that one. And I think I was supposed to train a lot for this half that was coming up, but then just been a bit too busy organising. And then I think you don't say the time publicly.
Time?
Oh no, you want to train for them. Oh, you want to get a PB in the marathon.
I don't know. We'll see.
Don't put the pressure on during the podcast.
I don't know what shape I'm in now, whether that's feasible. I obviously, like in the future, would like to qualify for maybe some little American races, but not. I doubt this time around, but maybe. Yeah,
I think
in the future.
Events-wise, we want to make the 24 and bigger and bigger every year and kind of franchise more and more. I think the one dream goal is to get it to London at some point.
Yeah.
But if we do that, it would have to be kind of where Manchester is at now, basically, which is
hit
a
the ground
lot of organisation.
running. Is the phrase I always say. It would need to hit the ground running because it would be big. I think. Well, hopefully, but
and I think if we can maybe find a potential like name sponsor for the events or kind of overall sponsor and partner for everything, can make life a lot easier, because at the moment we've always done it at a local level, but if we can get something to cover the whole board, as it is, it's completely free to take part. So the way we do it is through kind of corporate sponsorships, or kind of selling the merchandise as we've kind of branded in today, or just kind of the generosity of some people. It's kind of making that a bit more sustainable and less stressful on our parts too.
I think the sponsors have been great.
Yeah, they have been.
They are more local ones, in the sense of like the sponsors for Manchester are only for Manchester, and for Hereford it's for Hereford, which are amazing, and you know the way we can
do it,
keep doing them. But
I think an overall event sponsor covering everything would make
one.
life a bit easier. So if anyone's listening.
So you've both met the Olympic athlete Sifan Hassan after the Paris Marathon. So what one piece of advice or key impression did she leave on you?
She was lovely. Yeah, she was so lovely. we were very, very sleep deprived. I think we got back from the marathon about 4 a.m. Had about 2 hours clip, and then we were back out to watch the women's marathon, and we hopped around, and then we're in the stands. Got to see the incredible sprint finish against the Sefa.
Yeah,
with the controversial
so
moment that their team brought up, which so then we found a bunch of Netherlands fans, and we were in orange by coincidence that day. We had
an orange Hoka top on, and we were like, yes,
and we had our orange medals
done so well.
from the marathon. We kind of stayed behind with them in kind of the section, and then we could see her in the distance, and the security kept trying to kick us out. But every time she saw that, she kind of signalled like, no, let them stay. And
it was the last event of the Olympics, so they were probably like keen to pack up.
But instead of it just kind of being get a photo, move on, sign something very quickly, is that she took time to speak to everyone, and kind of she gave us a hug, which we didn't expect. We were quite surprised by.
Jumped over and then went to everyone, and everyone was like, oh, yes, of course we'll get a hug with you. And
it was almost like, it felt like she was celebrating with us, and I don't think she could believe it. Stuff actually went at that point, so she was still so over the moon, and so just happy and joy to be bouncing around like that after winning the Olympic marathon. I think it's,
she was just so nice, and we actually paid for, because we weren't going to pay to watch marathon, right?
No.
Stand on the street, and watch it. But actually, we did pay for that one because of the marathon the night before. Yeah. And we were like, maybe we just want to be sat down. Maybe we won't want to be walking everywhere. But what we didn't realise is, people were meeting, the athletes afterwards, because there was a little area that they walked out of. But, I just love her interviews.
Yeah, she's fab, isn't
They're
she?
so good.
So fab, she makes
I don't know why I signed up to this.
I know, Am I stupid?
That's one that she did after London, weren't it?
Yeah.
Why do I do
marathon? Am I stupid? She just thinks exactly what everyone else thinks.
It's like she stopped and stretched out, and everyone thought she was guarded, and she just comes back and it.
Oh, the London.
So impressive that.
And then,
okay, so we've talked a lot about the various running groups you're involved with, but if you could give each one piece of advice to a new runner who's looking to move on past solo running and find a local club or running group, what would it be?
Go for it. It's probably the best thing I ever did in my life. And kind of, joining a running club. And I think don't be scared as well. Every time we've joined a new running club in Ghana, everyone's always been so welcoming and friendly, and we've kind of gone on to make new friends and meet new people.
It is scary though. It is scary, but it's worth it. It's worth the little bit of nerves on the first one. I think it just took our running my running, I don't know, maybe the same for you, but just to a different level. I was running on my own, which I enjoyed, but joining the club, I think you just make those social connections, and then you have a little network, and it's no longer about the running. The running's obviously a strong part, but it's just about seeing those people. That's why you get so sad when you're injured, because it's like, I still want to see all my friends, but I'm not running.
It's like, I think as a kid I hated the idea of any long distance running. I did sprinting at school, and came last in cross country and hated that too. And then when I got into it, then I was like, okay, maybe I could train for a half by myself, but through joining the club and having that support, I kind of achieved things I never thought I could.
Okay, so if you've listened to the podcast before, you'll be aware of our quick fire questions. So let's see how quick fire we can be. Okay, so one after another. Thomas, then Molly on all of these. Road, trail, or track?
Road.
Morning or evening workouts?
Evening.
Long intervals or tempo runs?
Ooh. Long intervals.
Tempo.
Hill sprints or flat sprints?
Flat.
That's
only because we've just been in Sheffield. So many hills.
Recovery runs or rest days?
Recovery runs.
Rest days.
Heart rate zone training or pace-based training?
Pace-based training.
Pace.
Cross training or focus solely on running?
Focus solely on running.
And competitive mindset or fun and enjoyment?
Fun and enjoyment.
Same, yeah. I think with a competitive...
a little edge.
Dash.
I do enjoy the competitive side, but yeah.
Okay, right, that's all of the questions from me and from all of us. So thank you for joining us, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. It's really inspiring to hear about all your volunteering and your fundraising efforts, and it's great to see it go from strength to strength.
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to get you on. And if you're doing anything, tag us in the socials and we can try and share and help as much as we can.
No, it'd be great to have you along during the event. And
Absolutely,
well volunteered, Kaya.
It's my birthday on the 13th of November, so I'll have to come along, treat myself.
Run into the birthday.
Absolutely.
Can do as many hours as you're old.
Yeah, no, like that. But yeah, thanks for coming on. It's been really inspiring, like Dave said. So yeah, you do loads for the community. So well done, keep it up.
Massive kudos for what you do. Some impressive stuff. For your next marathon, 'cause you will do one. We all do.
That's it for this episode. In our next episode, we'll be speaking to a Charlton runner who has been smashing his PBs this year. He's got PBs of 17:23 for 5k, 35:41 for 10k, 78:24 for the half marathon, and 3:01:12 for the marathon. We'll be speaking to James Brabham. Get those questions in for James, and remember, the path to your greatest achievement often starts not with a pair of shoes, but with the people running beside you.